Listen, we're people. People have a natural desire for satisfaction. People try to get it in multiple ways, but they refuse to get satisfaction in the right way. If you try to get satisfaction in the wrong way, it'll never be right, and if it's never right, you'll never get satisfaction. People try to get it through sex, credibility, feeling important, and attention, and looking all cute, and in money, and trying to get rich, and in entertainment. People try to get entertained. People get satisfaction through just spending hours being entertained. The world says that if you can be entertained, then you can be satisfied. That's not what the truth says. Listen, we get entertained in many ways. Through music, through books, and games, and comedy, and there's nothing wrong with all of this. But at what point does it go too far? And what's at stake? What is the cost when it does go too far? What extent does it have to be at? How far do you have to go when you play to end up playing life? Because when you end up playing life, then you end up playing church. And if you try to play church, I can guarantee you that is a game that you will never win. Listen, playing isn't going to help you. You're not going to win at playing church because guess what? What are you trying to win from playing? That's like cheating in front of the referee and still expecting to win the game. If you're openly playing the church role without being legit, right in front of God who knows all, and you expect to go to heaven, to get something out of it, that's not the way that it works. You can't play chess with my chess pieces and your chess pieces on the same side of the board, and you're using both of them in an unfair advantage and expect that you're gonna win just because no one knows that you're using both of them. That's not the way it works. You can throw a beanbag in the same cornhole for hours and have everyone think that you're a pro, but no one know that the string is attached to the thing, and that's the reason it's going in. But what are you getting out of that? Are you getting satisfaction by people? Because once again, satisfaction does not work like that. Playing church isn't helping you, and whenever you play church, all you try to do is justify playing church. That's not right. If you're trying to justify doing something worldly by saying, well, I'm doing what the world says church is like, well, guess what? What the world thinks about church isn't going to help you, because guess what? That's the reason the world's in shambles, and that's the reason that the world needs Jesus, because the world doesn't know, okay? You cannot justify it with the world. It's not helping you at all. God is not a game that you can just go and play. No. You're supposed to have a relationship with God. You're not supposed to play someone in a relationship. And imagine your closest friend or sibling. They get into a relationship with someone who promises to love them forever, but all they end up doing is playing them and breaking their heart. What you're going to want to do is break that person's face. That's what you're going to want to do. And yet you think that you're okay for playing God. I don't think so. I don't think it even works like that. Listen. You can't be satisfied by games alone. Playing games and playing church is just like getting attention. It can be sweet at first, but I'm pretty sure the sweetness will wear off after a while, and all you're going to want to do is be alone in your sadness. You might like getting attention at the moment, But if you get too much, you will become crowded. You're going to hate it, and you're going to want to be alone, and you're going to regret whatever you did to get that attention. And it's the same thing with playing God. You're going to regret playing God because it's not getting you anything. What you thought it was giving you, it's only giving you the opposite, okay? Listen, it's like an adulterous relationship. It might be sweet, saucy at first. It might be scandalous and fun and mysterious and new. But after a while, it'll become just the same as your old relationship once was. And you're going to want to be an adulterer against that person as well. It all ends up the same. It's an endless loop. And do you know what the definition of insanity is? Repeating the same process over and over and expecting a different thing to happen each time. If you expect a different outcome for doing the same things and the same steps over and over with no change, you're insane. That's insanity, okay? And it's not getting you anywhere. You're riding around on the same exact horse carousel, expecting to be on a zebra instead of the white horse that you're on. What, are you expecting the paint to fly off from the tiger carousel in front of you? Because that's not the way that it works. Listen, whenever the games stop and the game is over, or it's halftime, and you stop and you realize where you are, what you could have been, and what you were, and you realize all of these things, and you realize you have nowhere and nothing to go to because everyone you thought you could trust, you've been playing them by playing life and playing who you are and playing God. What everyone thinks about you, that's not really you, because all you're doing is playing. You don't have anyone to turn to. You don't have anyone and anything. That's whenever you're gonna have to realize the only person you had that you could turn to was God. And you're playing him. And you don't know how to not play him, because all you've been doing is playing him. The one person you have to turn to, and you don't know how to talk to them, because all you've done is hurt them. And that's the state the world is in, and that's the state you're going to be in if you play God. Listen, there's a Jesus-sized hole in all of our hearts that can only be filled with Jesus. And we always try to pour in different chemicals and different things of satisfaction to fill up the heart hole. The chemical reactions cause it to fizz out and explode and just end up hurting you, hurting your heart, and making it empty every time. The only thing you can do is pour Jesus in there, and that's the only way you're getting anything out of it. That's the only way you'll get satisfaction. Jesus. And don't go into it just expecting satisfaction. Go into it knowing God is good. Or at least go into it going, I know this is what's right, whether I like it or not. And if you stop playing and you stop and you just let it all go, all of that stress, everything, just let it go, give it to God, then I assure you that after a while, you're gonna lose all of that satisfaction thought. You're gonna lose the thought of, I want satisfaction here and now. You're gonna lose that. You're not gonna think like that because you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be satisfied. You're gonna have everything you ever wanted in God, and you're gonna love God for God, not just for the satisfaction He can bring. Listen, Jesus is the only escape from this cruel world. You play God, you're not gonna win. You play church, you're not gonna win. There comes a time when no matter how many years you've been playing church, it'll come back to bite you. And anything you do, if you're playing life, if you're playing atheism, if you're playing Satanism, no matter what role you're playing, it's all going to come back to bite you. It's going to bite you. It doesn't matter what you believe or what you're doing, it's going to bite you, okay? Because it doesn't work like that. Because in the end, you're gonna have to learn that it's difficult to not be able to turn to the temple if you're supposed to be the temple and all you've been doing is playing in the temple. Whenever you're that 5-year-old that's running around screaming and no one takes you seriously because all you do is get attention, it's gonna hurt. It is gonna hurt, and I assure you that. Playing church is gonna get you nowhere. You gotta be legit. Leaving the church ain't getting you nowhere either. That's another game you lose. Basically, God's not a game. He can't be won over like that. It's not as silly as a game. But metaphorically, you only have God. The only way you can win in anything ever and have it be true and have it last instead of dying down is with God. Stop playing God. Stop playing church. Stop being a lukewarm Christian and actually get into it. Actually love God, okay? That's just my advice, though, okay? Coming from me to you. Thanks so much. Bye.